Hey traders, welcome back to the FXE YouTube channel. I'm back for another daily update. Try to make it quick as possible. But I'm going to start on the daily. You can see we had some interesting price action. We had a really nice push to the upside yesterday. So as I was saying in previous videos, this shows more signs of strength, that we may potentially get a reversal, but until I see it, I'm not gonna believe it, because as of right now I'm looking more at the higher time frame PD arrays, and as you can see, we've come into a daily breaker block, and it makes the most sense for price to react in this area, to come back down. And if we go on the lower time frames, let me go directly to an hourly. So what we can see is yesterday I was expecting higher prices. I honestly wanted to see this sweep before we came back down, but that didn't happen. We stopped shy of it, and then after that aggressively pushed down. We swept liquidity, and thereafter it was an hour. We swept liquidity at New York Open, came down a little deeper, and thereafter drove to the upside. And you can see on that drive to the upside, we cleared this liquidity as I was expecting, but surprisingly we also swept this liquidity. But surprisingly, because I wasn't expecting it, but at the same time it makes sense, because you can see all the resting liquidity that we had here, that we came up and swept. And thereafter, so this fair value gap was previously holding price. There was another one above that, and that was the one that we had the reaction off of. So we had the initial reaction, price drove down, had one pullback already, and thereafter another aggressive drive down. And my guess is just gonna start dropping from here. And in terms of expectation, so I would like to see price come down. Whether this is bullish or bearish, price I'm expecting to come down. We don't have so much imbalances in the upper half of this range, but we do have a significant imbalance here, and this is the area that I would like to see at minimum price come down to, even in the bullish scenario. So my guess is price continues down throughout the day, and then we'll just have to see what happens once we get to the fair value gap. But my guess is if we have a bullish scenario in play, we come into the fair value gap. There's a 5-minute liquidity point right here that I'm guessing will be swept before we have a shift, pullback, and continuation to the upside if we have a bullish scenario from this level. The other level that I'm looking at is price to come to the order block, so more the extreme, shift from there, and then reverse from the order block. So this is what I'm looking at for bullish scenarios. Originally I was looking at more the Wyckoff, where we have a deep sweep and push up, but that didn't happen. And as we're later in the week, I'm thinking that's not going to happen. My feeling is either the low of the week was put in yesterday, or the high of the week was put in yesterday. Either we're going to continue down from here, and the high of the week holds, and we break all this structure here, or the low of the week was put in on this liquidity sweep prior to the aggressive move to the upside, and then we just pull back for mitigation for the next move to the upside. So it's difficult to be for sure which scenario is in play. We're just going to have to watch and see what happens later in the day and potentially tomorrow. We do have a lot of news the rest of the week, so we could have a lot of big movements in the price. It could also be a catalyst to really reverse things and push things to the upside. So just have to sit and watch. But for the time being, my three scenarios are bullish scenario where we reverse from the fair value gap, a bullish scenario where we reverse from the order block, bearish scenario where we just free fall and continue to the downside. And just really quick on the 5 minute. So like I said, I'm expecting price just to continue down from here. Reason being is we had a manipulative high that came into a higher time frame PD array, instantly reacted off of it, had our first mitigation, so came into this supply here, and then after that aggressively pushed right back down. These type of scenarios, I would like to see either a sweep of internal liquidity before the price really starts moving to the downside. But these moves that I've seen in Asia, where we have this kind of setup where we have clear points of mitigation before the price drives further to the downside, and we have a breaker here from this order block, and it's a 15-minute fair value gap as well as a 1 hour fair value gap that's been holding. You can see it's respected over and over. This looks like it was a manipulation candle, and my guess is after a drive down, one more mitigation, it's probably just gonna continue to the downside from here. So this is a play that I am looking for. I didn't enter any trades for the time being because my Japan Open setup didn't happen. So for those that have watched before and listen to my Japan setups, those are usually the sweeps of liquidity points, and then once you see an aggressive move in the opposite direction, enter the trade to take it the other way. But as we're so high and the move was to the downside, I wasn't thinking that the Japan move was going to continue up and continue higher, especially when I started to see the respect of those PD arrays. So my play for now is just to watch, see what happens, but I suspect price will just start coming lower and lower after breaking this range, probably react at this demand zone, and thereafter if we get displacement through it, then I'll look to see if this acts as a breaker and I can get into a continuation play from here. And as I was saying, my target would be this, my first target would be this hourly fair value gap where I start to take off profits. And when I see these plays happen, I don't recall in many cases a deep pullback during Frankfurt Open or London Open. It usually just continues. So that could be helpful if we get an early entry in this area and price continues to push down and we don't get a big pullback taking us out of shorts before it starts to hit our targets. So anyways, that's what I'm looking at for today. Those three scenarios. The first one being reversal at the hourly fair value gap. So that one's a bullish scenario. The second bullish scenario is reversal at the 1 hour order block. And the third scenario is just price continue to melt and the higher time frames stay in control and continue to break down and push to the downside. Okay, anyways, that's it for me. I hope you guys have a good trading day today, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace. Hey, you made it to the very end. Thanks for that. If you could do me one more favor and click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, it'll allow the YouTube algos to kick in and help this channel grow. Thanks again. Cheers.